Four-way podcast, man. Yo.
Yeah, four-way podcast. Yo, man. You already know it's Slicky P17 of the four-way podcast, man. We back outside Bicentennial Park. I'm here with a great man today, man. I got Tony McCracken of the One Day at a Time Foundation, man.
I feel the same way about you,
Fuck you, son.
Good now, town. It's Tony with the One Day at a Time Foundation. I got my whole One Day at a Time Foundation. I got my homeboy Ken Sauce. What's good now, town? It's Tony, the IndyCar King, man. Got it.
Thank you, bro. Let's go. Let them know who you got here with you today, man.
Yeah, it's my little homeboy Devin right here, one of the kids in our mentorship program. He's just one of the kids that's excelling and progressing really well. So, we thought we'd reward him, get him a little show time.
I'm about to say, and it's his belated birthday, man. So
yeah.
Happy birthday to you, bro, man.
Happy birthday.
Hey, man,
17.
I definitely appreciate you coming down. So let's really just get to the beginning of it. Like, where was Tony before the One Day at a Time Foundation?
So like back?
Yeah.
Like back? Okay,
we can condense it down a little bit, but like...
No, okay, I get it. So really it started early for me, man. I used to run around. I'm a first American born. My mom was Korean. My daddy was white, Puerto Rican. I don't know him like that, but
I was going to ask you. I'm like, man.
Yeah. So being a first American born, a family of immigrants, came here from Korea. They came straight to Texas, and when we came to Indiana, we moved to the east side.
How old were you when you moved here to Indiana?
Like 10, around there.
Okay, so early.
Maybe, yeah, early. Yeah, I was young. We moved to the east side, like near Post Road, Franklin, all that. And that was my stomping grounds for a while.
Moved right into the middle of what the heart of that town really is.
Yeah, and me being who I am and what I look like, I stuck out like a sore thumb over there, you feel me? And I was always a guy, I don't know why, bro. Maybe it was just I didn't have a male role model or the right guidance, but at a young age, bro, I always wanted to be bad. I don't know why.
So you just enjoyed, the chaos of like going outside, just doing...
Yeah, I think the adrenaline, I was an adrenaline junkie since a kid, I guess, you know what I mean?
Just that, if I get away with this, I'm already knowing what you're talking about, trust me.
And hanging out with a certain crowd was tough for me because, a lot of times, I ain't even like it to be like, who's this white boy?
So you gotta damn near feel like you gotta overprove yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
They always test you because, like, man, one, you look like the little white boy, and you're not the little white boy, so it's like, you gotta
absolutely
set your ground and like, nah, this is who I am.
I was trying to fit in so much, and I was trying too much. You feel me? I got what I asked for. I got in with the crowd. The motherfuckers out
at the barbecue.
They're busting moves and whatever. And at a young age, I thought that's what it was. I thought that was what was cool. You know what I mean? Even then, social media wasn't as bad as now. But then, they've always glorified the drug culture, the street culture. What comes with it, the chains, the females, the clothes, the cash, that lifestyle. You know what I mean? I fell with that lifestyle at a very young age.
Very fast lifestyle, like quick.
And shit, I'll skip and make that part of school, but I got arrested about 15 times by the time I was 14. I went to juvenile prison, boys school, 2003. Got out in 2006. You would think, I would got my shit together. Honestly, life got more out of it. I think it was, I don't put blame or none, but juvenile Pendleton boys school is one of the worst, most disgusting, scariest, dysfunctional places I've ever been. And I've done almost 20 years in the penitentiary. I've been in almost every state penitentiary in the state of Indiana other than Michigan City. And I'll tell you, juvenile Pendleton is...
So do you think like going to the juvenile kind of like turned you up more? Like it didn't...
That's what I was getting
It didn't slow you down because it's like, I didn't even know to do that. Like,
exactly, bro.
We could do that. Like, so as soon as I get out, I'm already knowing. Like,
I'm gonna keep a thug, you know what I mean? I was just a kid, like I said, trying to fit in. So when I went to boys school, it wasn't even for crazy stuff. It was just for constantly getting in trouble for smoking weed.
You ran into some kids.
And then when I get to boys school, now I'm trying to keep up with that persona again. You know what I mean? Trying to fit in now more. Because now motherfuckers are really trying, you know what I mean?
Really like.
And it made me, become somebody that I wasn't. You know what I mean? For real. Because at boys' school was really eat and get at it. You know what I mean? For real. It really was like that. And you know what I mean? I wasn't going, I guess. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be picked on. I wasn't going to let nobody take my shit, take my food. You know what I mean? I had a lot of time to do it. I was about to let my next 2 years be getting extorted. And then it turned into a cycle. I mean, a vicious cycle and spiraled completely out of control. I fell into that life.
So after that, you kind of like was just in and out, like constantly.
Yeah, I did almost 3 years in boys' school. And I met some great dudes, bro. You know what I mean? But I mean, to a point, we created a gang. You know what I mean? I would say that this sound cool, man.
But
that's
like,
just how lost we
that's
were.
That's your story. You feel me? This is like as to who you are now, and you feel me? How you can relate to, you know, young men like who you got sitting there next to you. You know how you can connect with them. It's like, yo, like.
Yeah,
I was there, like, you feel me? I'm not sitting there just talking to someone who just went to college and then got a degree and now is trying to come and help you out. Like, nah,
I even got a GED, so definitely ain't that.
I walked the same path you walked.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're able to sit here and really give them that knowledge, like, to where it's like when I'm talking to him, you're not talking as like someone who doesn't understand.
Yeah. And that's how I usually talk to them, you know what I mean? I usually try to tell them, like, hey, this time of my life, you know what I mean? I try to tell them real experiences that I was going through that you can maybe kind of relate to, you know what I mean?
Because a lot of time, I know it's like, shit, me growing up as a youth, I remember, like, you can tell me whatever, like, I gotta go touch that stove to see if it's hot. Like,
Yeah.
Or I can literally watch you cook a steak on the stove.
Yeah.
I still gotta go touch that motherfucker to see if it's hot.
Yeah,
I'm not going to allow you to sit here and, like, you always felt like, nah, like, I dictate my path, so, like, I can.
And that's definitely how it is with the youth, and that's why we're in our mentorship program. Well, I'll get to that. Nobody even know about the mentorship program.
I was about to say, yeah, no, so, all right.
So I get out, yep.
Where are we, like, when does it get to the point where you're like, all right, like, I gotta straighten up, like.
No, it's a while. It's a while, bro. So I get out, do boys' school, and like I said, I turned into something I really wasn't trying to be, and you know, I really ran the streets, you know, doing robberies, doing crazy shit, and I started dabbling. I started getting high. You know, I was popping pills, and I was a dope boy, and I ended up getting addicted. I ended up getting addicted to heroin. You know what I mean? I was selling heroin. I got addicted to it. You know what I mean? And life really got crazy. And we'll fast forward, and I got arrested maybe 23 times. And by 2011, I caught a dope case, 5 counts of dealing within 1,000 yards of school grounds and 1,000 yards of Section 8 public housing.
So like you're government.
Yeah. So I was facing literally, man, for the first year, 50 years was like the lowest plea they were trying to give me. They were trying to chop it up, you know, like 20 DOC, 20 in work release, and 10 on house arrest, you know what I mean?
But they want you in their system for the next 50.
Yeah. I sat and fought the case for 2.5 years, and finally was able to hire a lawyer after all that time, and I ended up taking a 26-year sentence. And I had to do 12 of it in the penitentiary. During that time when I went to the joint, man, I was angry, you know what I mean? I had a 3-year-old son when I went in, and I was just completely lost and angry. So the first couple of years, man, I was just crashing out. Once again, I was trying to, you know, let people know and trying to fit in, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, stick out going into the joint, rocking a comb over, you know what I mean? So it was.
You know, it just felt like throughout life you constantly like put in this position where you have to prove yourself. And it's like, I don't even like acting like this, but all right, this is what I got to do, because I'm not about to sit here and just let y'all think that this is sweet over here.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll fast forward. I was affiliated, so I was running around. I kept getting in trouble in the joint. I was losing time. I was losing a year, another year, another year, another year. You know what I mean? Next thing.
So I wanna, but like, so when that's going on, like, where's your mind at? You just, you know, like, is it almost like you're giving up? Like you saying, like, it is what it is. Like,
yeah,
this is it right here. Like,
yeah, you know, at that point in my life, I already had decided. I mean, this is part of my life. This is what I
signed up for this, and
this is what I wanted. Yeah, you know what I mean. It sounds stupid, but you're gonna do the crime, do the time, and I was okay with it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I was just okay with doing time again now. I was just always think when I get out, get back at it, I'll just think of a smarter way not to get arrested. I know what not to do now. That's how I used to think, you know what I mean? And I got caught trafficking inside the penitentiary. So I catch a dope case inside of the penitentiary with a couple other of my affiliated brothers.
Definitely not trying to be nice this time. Hey,
nah.
I want the whole thing at you.
Yup. So we got lucky.
Here for this.
Yup. And we got lucky that they didn't pursue really on outside cases. They really just threw us under the jail. I did my last 3 years at the shoe in the annex. So I was on 23-hour lockdown from 2018 of August 3rd until January 15th of 2021.
And I hear a lot of stories about that. Like, you know, people say, like, spending that much time, you almost, like, you can potentially go insane. Like, do you ever feel like those times where, like, you felt like you were losing it during that point in time?
I mean, for sure. I won't say, like, losing it, but, I mean, you know, I mean, you got nothing but time and you're stuck with yourself, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there was definitely times that, I was going a little crazy, you know what I mean?
So what kept you, from just losing it all the way? Did you have, you know, a support system or like?
I did. Towards the end, in the beginning, you know, my family showed me tough love and that's what I needed, you know? Like, my family didn't talk to me my first 2 years when I caught the case. But really what changed and made me really sit down. I didn't really make the change, but it was the first time in my life that I was like, damn, maybe I need to figure out something different.
Maybe I ain't fucking up like that.
Yeah, it was 2016. I won't forget it. October. I hope I don't get emotional. My fiance and my son's mother passed away. 2016 October. So, that being said, when she passed away, I still had 4.5 years left of my sentence. And she was out there running the streets, so the state had my son. So he was in foster care. And at that time, I think I was at Putnamville State Farm. CPS, the state, they came out. And it's actually how I found out. My family didn't want to tell me about. Her name was Kaylee. They didn't want to tell me about Kaylee. They thought it was best to keep it from me. Matt was coming up for like a parole review to maybe get out early. They just didn't want me to be emotional, like, you know, react and do something stupid. Yeah. So it was really a shock, you know what I mean? The CPS comes up and they're telling me they got my son. It was because my fiance had passed away. So they just put, you know, they put full court pressure on me at that time. And I thought I was making the best decisions at the time. Well, all I'm thinking is he's in foster care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him in foster care. So the only options was to get him out of foster care was to sign my rights over. I didn't want to sign my rights over to the state. So they allowed me to sign my rights over to my fiance's side of the family, her sister. So my son's aunt. And we were cool at the time, and I ain't gonna get too deep into it. But within 2 weeks after I signed my rights over to her family, they ghosted me. Yeah, so they cut all ties with me shortly after that. So I didn't hear or see my son since 2017. And I'll get into that a little bit, but like I said, that was really. Yeah, like I said, that was the first time that made me really sit down and like, I gotta get my shit together. Because I knew that the only way I was gonna get my family back was to get my shit together, you know what I mean?
Nah, hell yeah, nah.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate you for opening up like that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, but yeah, that's what really made me change because I knew, I mean, I wasn't dumb or naive. I know why they ghosted me. You know what I mean?
You know,
yeah, they do. You know what I mean? It's who I was at the time. And I wasn't a good example. I wasn't a perfect. You know what I mean? I wasn't a good fit to raise a child at that time. You know what I mean? They're doing the best thing at this. Yeah, they were doing the best thing for him at that moment.
And for you, in a way too, because like you know, it allowed you to find this thing within you to, hey, I got it, all right, say less. Like, I don't like this feeling like this.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it gave me a push, it gave me that motivation, it gave me grinding. And
then, so where do you go? You got back on, you're making this decision in your mind, you know, you're ready to change. Where does it go from that? And like, how do you lead into one day at a time?
So, like I said, I still have like 3 years left in my sentence. I was in SEG. I'll fast forward to, but the difference was I tried to come up. I was coming up with a game plan. You know what I mean? Anytime before, I was just getting out, or my only game plan was like, shit, you got something from me. You know what I mean? To get back.
Real quick.
Yeah, to make some plays. This time, I started reaching out to people I knew that'd be good to surround myself with. I reconnected with my family. I rebuilt the relationship I had with my mother. And so, make it short, surprisingly, my mom offered to let me come home. And being 30-some years old, I fought it at first. I ain't going to my mama's house. I even had a nice little female to go home to, for real. She was willing to give me her address and everything. And I was just thinking so naive, or just not thinking about anything important, whatever. But I just kept fighting like, nah, I'm gonna go stay with this chick. You know what I mean? This who get my police information, the probation for this female. And then finally, I decided, like a month before I got out, that it probably would be a good decision to go home. Just chill.
So it was like a last minute thing. You like. So how long did you have towards the end, like where you was just like, all right, nah, I'm actually going home?
Yeah, it was about the last month. Last month, I been talking to my mom, and she just, she was just making it make sense, So I went home, and it was the best thing that happened. The moment I was home, man, homeboys I grew up with, that's the crazy thing. I'm talking about homeboys I grew up with since the moment I came to Indiana. So we all ran the streets together, and they were all addicts themselves too. So they all got strung out on the dog food and the heroin themselves. So when I got out, I didn't know what these guys were doing, honestly. I didn't know if they were still getting high, still running the streets. That's how God works, man. I feel like, honestly, they got these people sober for me to have a support system right now.
So when you got out, like some of your...
All 4 of my friends had at least 3 to 5 years clean. They all got off the streets. They all got married, had kids, making hundreds of $1,000s a year jobs. Like they turned their lives around, and they were pulling up. They were taking me to AA, HA, NA, CA meetings. For people that don't know what that is, it's for recovering addicts, like Alcohol Anonymous. I didn't have a whip, obviously. They were picking me up, taking me to meetings. I used to fight. And David Burners, shout out to him, man. That's like my brother, man. He was a professional fighter, and during that time, I tried to fight, but I didn't really have much of a fight career because I was always in jail or whatever. He was taking me to the gym, and I was training every day, almost twice a day, and that really got my mind right. And training and getting around people. Like I said, getting around like-minded people.
Who was in the same situation and they figuring it out. So like just showing you like it's possible. That's definitely like if you can see it, you can be it. You know what I mean? That's
And I seen something they had that I wanted. You know what I mean? A normal life.
It's just like the same way growing up. Like you seen all the hustlers with the money and stuff. It's like damn, I wonder how they got it. Now you seeing your friends, it's legal and they taxpaying citizens. Now you're like damn, I want that too.
Yeah, out the gate for sure, man. I saw. You know what I mean? They were happy, to be honest. So I saw something I wanted in them, and that's what really made me stick around with them so much. And they stuck around with me, even though there was definitely some ups and downs in that first couple of years when I was out. But my support system kept me together. You know what I mean?
And that definitely, I like the name of the foundation, one day at a time. Like ups and downs.
Yeah.
Taking sure. Everything one day at a time.
Yeah, for sure. It's a recovery thing. Like I said, that's why I chose it. That's a rule I really live my life by. But making sure I got out, and from 2003 to 2000, I got off parole in 2023. So 2003 to 2023, I've never, ever been off the papers. I've been on probation since 2003. 20 years.
I was about to say, that's
Yeah, for 20 years I was stuck in the system. And I
I'm
finally,
25, so that's like,
yeah,
that's a long ass fucking
20,
time. That's,
yeah. And I finally got off in 2023.
that's,
And the other significant thing is, since 2003 to 2023, I've never, ever been out longer than 9 months at a time. It's the longest I've ever stayed free from my entire life until 2023. So when that happened, and that being said, I got off parole. I've never successfully completed parole, probation, nothing ever in my life. I've never been out longer than 9 months.
they was always coming to pick your ass up.
Yeah, I was always violating for a new charge, so it just continue that cycle. But when I got off parole, that's when it really hit me. Honestly, that's when it really hit me. When I got off parole, I knew that I was done. Yeah,
That shit is over.
yeah, like I'm getting emotional. I'm like emotionally happy right now. I truly thought I was gonna die in the jail. You know what I mean?
You had accepted that.
Yeah, I'd accepted it. Yeah, I'd accepted that. I was going to go back and hit the clock, and I was going to run my money up. And that comes with RICO acts and life sentences.
And then you come
I was
to a
so
point where
committed to
you-
that life, I didn't care.
Find yourself in the gym every day. Now you getting on papers. Like, you ain't even been that close to that shit. Like,
Yeah, that's the number one thing, man. It sounds corny, but anybody that's trying to make a change, man, you have to change people, places, and things, or it'll never happen.
nah,
It'll
but
never
if
happen.
this shit be sound corny, but
Never
this shit be
happen.
real, man. Like when motherfuckers talk about, like, 'cause you hear everybody say, like, consistency or just, man, if you are consistent at something, man, and you really want it, you really do that shit, yo, you feel me? There's a will, there's a way. You just gotta have the will and the want to do it, you feel me? And once you're able to develop that within yourself, ain't nothing you feel me stopping you except for you.
So, like I said, that's when the first spark really hit for me when I was out. It's like, damn. And I was, like I said, big in recovery and all that. And I just always was taught that in the recovery, somebody's somebody help me get that gift, you know what I mean? To get clean and sober and to change my life. I just wanted to give those same resources back, man. I just thought, I was just in complete awe that
You even made it, you know?
yeah, I'm being for real, man. I was in complete awe that my mindset even changed. You know what I mean? Not that I just got off parole, but something changed in my mind. You know what I mean? So that's when it was shocking to me.
Nah, that shit can definitely be shocking. No, bro, trust me. I feel you on that shit. Like, whenever you feel me, because you get so comfortable in a certain lifestyle, you're like, bro, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I'm cool with what I'm doing. And then you find yourself
Justify everything to make it sound good to yourself.
And then you start to have the ideas like, oh, that's actually fucked up. And then it like fucks with you. It's like, damn, like, I always thought that shit was cool. Like, why am I thinking that damn, I don't like doing that no more? Like, it's like, who the fuck am I? Like, you feel me? It's like, oh, wow, you feel me? Change, wrong.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
So when was the first moment, I know you said you started wanting to give back,
So you've done an interview with the guy before, so I had clicked up with a dude named Big A's Homie.
Big Homie A's, hell yeah. Now, I always speak, man, highly of him, man.
I clicked up with him through some mutual friends, and it wasn't even for nothing like that. It was honestly for social media content type stuff. I'm a car salesman. And a buddy of mine was like, man, I'm gonna have him do some videos with you because he had a big following, like, to help you get your name out there and selling cars. So that's how that relationship honestly started. And I'm hitting him up, and we're supposed to do a video. We're supposed to do a video for the content. And he was like, well, we're gonna have to reschedule, bro. It was a Sunday. He was like, I'm gonna do this thing today. I'm like, what you about to do? He's like, I did this thing, this bloom pop thing, and it went big. And the homeless people are really the reason it went big. So we're about to get back to them. We got to do a little feeding for them, or like feed the homeless. So I was like, well, I bet. I was like, shoot, I'll come down there. I'll help you out. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't have like much good, like I didn't have no bad intentions, but I'm saying I didn't go there because I wanted to help people out.
He's like, hey, I'm from Polish.
Yeah. No, honestly, I went there for my own selfish reasons. Like, hey, that's my book. You know what I mean? to keep it 1,000. I'm being for real.
No, hey, I'm like,
I went there because I was like, this might look good. You know what I mean? They might see a car salesman feeding the homeless. That was my full intention.
That's it, hey.
That was my full intention to go there, bro. But God put it heavy on my heart that day, and he brought these kids. There was 2 kids. They were like 13 or 14, man. And we're feeding the homeless at Wheeler Mission. So that's what made them stick out. Like, what are these kids doing here? You know what I mean? But they didn't look homeless either, though. But they didn't, like, they also, I'm not going to say they looked like they needed to be there, but you know what I mean? They didn't not fit in. I'll say that much. But they still kind of stuck out and made me like, what's going on? Just their age. So I asked them, like, yeah, we're 14, 15. Like, damn, why would a 14, 15-year-old be here on a school day? Well, I mean, on a Sunday trying to get some free food? And obviously, you know, the life ain't what I thought it, you know what I'm saying? I started asking some questions, found out they had some hardships, and these kids had it tough. And that was it. And then Ace decided to do it again the next Sunday. And me and Ace had been talking at that time, and so I was like, yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. You know, help to get some of the food. And my homeboy owned a barbershop, and he was a barber, and I was like, hey, what if I brought a barber down here to give out some free haircuts? So we came down and did that, and those kids showed up, and they came and got a haircut, so I saw them again. They're about to come, but they're in line now to get a haircut. And that's when I really started pressing. I was like, what's going on? Like, what's good? Like, why are you coming around here hanging out with Katie heads and crackheads? You know what I mean? That's
space you shouldn't be a
yeah, space you ain't supposed to be around. So, like I said, I intervened really right then and there and just started showing them love, honestly, bro. Me and Ace started giving them some clothes, you know, making sure, like, we reached out to some people, like, man, we got these kids, you guys give us some clothes, some nice fits that we could surprise them. We start doing shit like that, and they start sticking around. And then I started doing free haircuts at Circle City Cuts too, on Washington Street over there, Short Ridge Road. Shout out to Cho and them, my partner. So we start doing these free haircuts every Tuesday, and they start coming every Tuesday. So it was like, damn, I'm showing up all these times, and I really started taking them under my wing, and I just started guiding them, mentoring them, man. They hit me up. I remember really when I decided, it was Christmas Eve. I don't know if they called me or if I called them, but we're talking. And they're like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're on the bus. I'm like, man, it was like 7 at night, so I'm like,
why would you be on the bus?
Yeah, why are you on this Christmas Eve? You ain't home with the family? We were like, nah, we're about to go to Target, the mall, like we're just roaming around. I was like, nah, bro. So I grabbed my middle child, Eli, he's 7, and I was like, hey, let's go pick him up. I thought it was only 2 of them, it ended up being 5 of them. So I ended up picking them up, and I took them to Target. That's all I did. And you could just see the gratitude in their faces and just how grateful they were just that somebody was willing to do that, just taking the time out of the day to hang out with them so they didn't have to just roam the streets. And that's when it really, you know, God put it heavy on my heart. And from that moment, because of them, you know, they start bringing their friends, and God just continuously put kids in front of them. He just kept putting kids in front of them.
So it kind of almost, the foundation itself literally almost just happened by accident.
Not by accident, but working with kids, yes.
Yeah, so like in a way, like you wasn't.
Because I was working with recovery.
Like, make the foundation, you were just doing it, and then it's like, all right, well, I need to build something around this. Like, clearly, like, there's a problem here, and like, clearly, I can do something to help. Like, And if I can get something set around this, I can build a structure around it, you know?
And I start bringing some of my friends, guys that done some time in the joint, 10, 15, 20 years in the joint, and I'm bringing them around with these kids, and it was just a good atmosphere, man. You could just see the mentoring just happening before we even, you know what I mean? It started happening before we even knew it.
Because from a way, like, a lot of the guys you're bringing around, they were those kids. So, like,
they idolize them,
yourself and the kid, and it's like, damn, like, let me steer you away from this path and show you.
Like, and that's one thing we make sure of, bro. Like, with all the mentors that work for my foundation, I make sure they look a certain way.
Like kids, like man, especially if you're going into these urban neighborhoods, you know, they're mostly like going to be predominantly black kids. You know, there's you know mixed race, but like they got to see somebody that like, man, you look like somebody that live around me.
And they don't even have to be black. It's just somebody they can, you know what I mean? That's why.
It's the energy, like you had to have come from
that way.
I'm at,
but then when you tell them the story, like damn, you did all that time, and now that's your car. You got that. No, like bro, there's another way. You don't have to do that. And that's why we really started pressing full court with the mentoring the kids. I was just like, why the fuck are we continuously trying to help people after the trauma? You get what I'm saying? After everything.
Catch them early on.
Like, you know what I mean? What if somebody saved me? Would have saved me 20-something years of, you know what I mean, drugging and using and being addicted, running the streets and in and out of the penitentiary, you know what I mean? I lost so many family and friends on the way. And so it's just like, so why can't we prevent it from happening, baby? You know what I'm saying?
If you can at least change the mind of one kid to where like he was gonna go on a certain path, but you ever change his mind to like do something else, bro, shit like that. Like
and that's what Devin is. Devin is that biggest motivation for us, man. He was the first one that I really took under and was like, okay, let's.
And then so when did you meet Devin?
2-3 months ago.
About 3 months ago.
About like 2-3 months ago. And once his mom reached out, and I was working with him to make it real short. He was getting in trouble a lot. Like, I mean, the kid was getting arrested like every month from pistol charges, grand theft autos. You know what I mean? He was really out there trying to, like I was as a kid, trying to fit in, but with that wrong crowd. But he succeeded just like I did. He got into the crowd he wanted, but like I said, it's not the crowd. You want to be a part of it.
Winning in that situation.
Yeah, and so you know he was going through his struggles, and he was locked up, and the judge at the probation actually was going to release him, and I knew that, and I've been talking to his mom. I hadn't met Devin yet, but I've been talking to Devin's mom for 2 months before I met Devin. I never got the opportunity to meet Devin during those 2 months because he was wild. He was a YN. He was running around. He was always in jail. He was on house arrest. I never got the opportunity to meet him. So I was communicating with his mom a lot, and she had told me the prior days, like, they got a court date for him, and they're going to release him. I was like, I bet. So that day, I called her and said, oh, Devin, she's like, no, I didn't let him come home. I said, what do you mean? She's like, the judge and probation, they released him, but I told him no. I was like, so he's not home, really? She's like, no. And, you know, that's, you know, it's tough love, but that's what you needed. It's what a lot of these kids need. But that was probably one of the best, toughest decisions she's probably ever had to probably make as a mother, you know what I mean? Say, no, I want my son to stay in jail. But that's how you know how strong that love is, that she'd rather him be safe in jail than maybe getting shot at. You know what I mean? He was running around.
I was saying, so how did that make you feel? You feel me like, I'm already knowing you probably pissed off, but like, did you able to understand, or is it just, I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Wow, I was mad at the same time. You know, it's understandable.
Nah, definitely, you feel me?
Yeah. It was just a violation at that time too, though. But then when she said no, they were trying to say DLC. That's really why I was mad. Yeah, I understand. I feel they could have been doing. I wasn't changing at the time. Probation told me to give him a chance.
Yeah, so his mom.
Do you feel that?
No, you're good.
Do you feel me, that was like a good thing? Like, when you were able to, like, spending that time, like, it allow you to reflect on it, you feel me?
Yeah. So, crazy thing is, we were talking, and she just straight up asked me. Well, she mentioned, she's like, you have any advice? I was like, I mean, if you think this is beneficial to him and you really want to hear, I mean, at the end of the day, you can always ask the question. You know what I mean? She goes, really? You know, she thought I was intruding or something like that. You know what I mean? I would love to. This is why I've been communicating with you the last couple months before I ever met him. I'd love to meet Devin. She called me the very next day and was like, we're actually willing to do it. I started getting emails from the judge and the probation. They were just asking a lot of questions, you know what I mean, before they're just like, yeah. They looked into my program, looked into me, and they're like, yeah, we're going to court order Devin to your program. And that itself, you know, is a blessing. You know what I mean? That's just, that's a blessing.
It shows like, you know, they acknowledge me, like, all right, definitely, like, you somebody that can really help.
You know what I mean? So Devin was the real reason why we pressed so hard. So with him, main thing what we do when we encounter a kid, we don't try to force him into any program. You know what I mean? That's why we have so many programs, because not everything is for everybody. You know what I mean? With him, they court ordered him to our boxing program. You know what I mean? He used to box, but he just doesn't want to do the boxing program. And I was like, you know what? Let's talk. Let's find out what you like, what you do. You know what I mean? What makes you happy? Like, I'm an artist. You know what I mean? And I want to be a videographer. And the crazy thing is, that's how God works, man. During that last 2 months, I've been sitting down and talking with somebody trying to create a videography program to teach kids engineering, producing, and videography in the camera work. Everybody wants to be on social media. Everybody wants to be streaming. Right now, everybody wants to be DJ Too Cold, pop the balloon, you know what I mean? So why not teach them and let them make some money? Teach them the right way, you know what I mean? And then I partnered up with Chris with Know Your Baller, who's pretty known around the city. He does all the videography. He's a nonprofit. He does all the videography for AU, high school basketball, City League, and that's how I met D1 playmakers that's out here on the court. That's how I met a lot of these other youth AU basketball coaches. I'm gonna kind of rewind how it started. After I started doing that, you know, we were giving out free haircuts. We were doing all these events. We did a free sneaker event, and then Fitz and Cho from Rappers vs. Trappers reached out. They reached out to me about, it's been a year now. A year, you know, about a year. It was a year ago. They reached out just to do an interview. I was like, yeah, that was my first interview. I was like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? And I loved their content, you know what I mean?
They definitely don't.
And they were known, so I was like, yeah. So I go there, man, not expecting what happened, but created a brotherhood, found some family, for real. We were talking, look, I'm getting emotional, I'm being for real, like, you know, Cho's like a brother to me, you know what I mean? I love that dude. That moment, after the interview, a lady had been called that I was working. Like I said before, God put on my heart to start working with the kids. During the interview, I wasn't working with kids. I wasn't even working with kids at that moment, other than those 2 kids. Like I said, I was working with those kids, but I didn't have no program, none. I was still doing
sneaker stuff, you know.
I was just doing that, like hanging out with them, because I don't know, man. I don't want to sound like pity or whatever, but you know, I just felt bad, and that's why I was hanging out with these kids. But I was doing my re-entry recovery program, helping guys that are getting out of prison and guys that had alcohol or drug issues at that time. So this lady calls while I'm at the studio, says, hey, the state gave us, they've been homeless, and the state gave them a house. And they've been there, I guess, for like 6 months. She sends us videos, the house is bare. They don't even have a bed. They're sleeping on the floor. They don't have no dishes. That's it, bro. And they overheard the conversation. He was like, what's up? I was like, I'm about to go figure out what I can do for these people. He's like, you're gonna try for this? That's what I do, bro. They're like, for real? They're like, man, all I say less. He was like, let's go. You drive. I'm like, what do you mean? Let's go. He's like, go where? Let's go buy this lady a couch, a TV, and some shit. It's like, man. So Cho and calm down, brain fart. He gonna be so mad at me. Yeah, he has his Instagram is drugs. He does he's an artist too, but he makes those.
I'm gonna make sure we tag him in.
Yeah, that's my homeboy. Don't be mad at me, bro. But him and Cho were like, come on. So we went, bro. They bought him some dishes. They bought him some, you know, plants, some picture frames just to make their house feel homey, and bought him a little freaking 36 inch. We went to like somewhere used, but still bought him a little flat screen TV and some hygiene, and yeah, got him right, bro. And from there, I was like, yeah, these
I'm
are
rocking
solid.
with y'all.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And really just everything after that was just history, bro. We just connected, we started talking, and we just both seen that we're both genuine people, just wanted to help some people, you know what I mean? A lot of people just look at him as a artist, rapper, you know, rappers or trappers, whatever, but you know, the
Real people.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they
that's
real
what
human beings.
is.
For me.
And that's why, if you
They got
notice at my Instagram, it's a lot of people know who these people are. But I want to show people, man, you know what I mean? Don't judge nobody by what they look like or not, you know what I mean?
Nah, look, you cannot judge a book
These
by its
people are
cover, man. 'Cause
good-hearted
you'd be so
people.
surprised, like, the person on the inside and, like, how somebody genuinely is. Because they probably, you know, like, you know, everybody comes from, you know, a certain neighborhood, so you have to build this person up. You may not be who you really are on the inside, but, like, you gotta have these walls up, you know, to protect yourself throughout life. You feel me?
Yeah.
I've definitely found, you know, like, some are, like, people who are, like, genuine, like, they really hard in real life, but they got a soul, you feel me? People forget that, you know, everyone got a soul, everyone got a story, you know, like.
And with most of these guys also, they all have a story, you know what I mean? Everybody I've tried, you know, they have a story, they can relate to them. So a lot of people in the beginning thought Tony was a clout chaser, you know what I mean? For real, for a lot of people, all they saw was me with videos with people known in the city like Cho or Nicki Neptune, 25.
They don't see the behind the story stuff. Like,
But they didn't know what the real mission was behind that story. Yeah, a lot of people in the city idolize these people, including kids. So why not use these figures and use their platform to reach kids?
No,
You know
literally,
what I mean?
and like it's building a community within the city. Like you said, like you're building brotherhood, you're building bonds with these people. Where it's like now, like if they doing something, you own it. If you doing something, they own it. Like, you know what I mean?
And it worked, you know. Like I said, a kid goes looks at Circle City Hustle's page or Nicki Neptune's page or Computer Love or Stunner Boy's page because you know they follow them, they idolize it, but then they start seeing good habits, you know,
like they, you feel me? Like not sitting here just promoting like, hey,
Yeah,
you feel me?
yeah,
A pint of
yeah.
lean, like sitting here outside
I won't
playing
allow people in my
basketball, like,
event. Like if somebody calls me, they're a vendor or a speaker or an artist, whatever it is, I go and check their page, bro. If there's any fuck shit on there that could stir a kid's mind in the wrong direction, I don't care if they have 50,000 followers. Like,
cause you know what you're trying to, you know, push these kids. You don't want to bring somebody around that could potentially like pull them off of
And
this
that's like,
journey you trying to take them on.
like I said, that's why I use like prime example. Look at Nicki Neptune, what he does. If people don't really see what he does, this dude tries to put on people from the city, people up and coming artists, models, entrepreneurs, business owners. That's what they do. They just try to bring light and put people on. You know what I mean?
That's
And if a kid sees that, that's a good habit to follow. An entrepreneur, he's a business owner, actor, all this type of stuff, and helping other people get on. You know what I mean? That's why we're using these people. You know what I mean? And God, you know what I mean? Sound crazy. I'm a believer, but God told me fuck what the people would think. You know what I mean? I don't care if anybody think I'm a clout chaser.
You know what you're
We
doing
know what
at the
we're
end of
doing
the day,
now,
man. And people, you're never gonna please everyone.
Yeah.
So as long as like you're pleasing the crowd that you want to please, which are the kids, man, you make sure these kids are good. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers gonna get online, they gonna say whatever they want to say, man. You know what's happening.
And you know the saying, they say if you ain't doing none, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing nothing anyway.
Hey, no, definitely.
For sure. So,
especially if they get to hating online, man, you already know you're doing something right at the end of the day, man.
and so, and because of Cho and like Nicki Neptune and Fitz from Rappers to Trapper, you know, they put my name out there. You know, they were basically like my advocates. Like when I was coming out, people didn't know who I was. I'm not an artist. I'm not nobody. You know what I mean? And I've done most of my life in prison.
I found out about you, so when I saw what Big Homie was doing, cause like I ain't gonna lie, like that was when I just started the podcast. I saw he did it was the pop balloon first, and I saw him going out, you know, feeding the homeless, and I tapped in with him, and I was like, went out there, interviewed him one Sunday, and then I'm just like scrolling through his page. I always try to, you know, make sure I share stuff, and then that's how I came across, you know, your stuff. And then I remember early on, like I've been tapping in with you for a minute, man.
Yeah.
The shit stuff I do, like, you know, the Mike at the Dust Ball, you
Yeah.
feel me, all the shoe giveaways, like just it's all good stuff. Like for me.
You see that too, like, you know what I mean? That's where we try to take our kids. The Mike Epps Dust Bowl. What kid ain't gonna be fucking stoked to go to the Mike Epps Dust Bowl?
Literally, I'm about to say, and then you said y'all won that.
Yeah, man, our high school team won it all. Shout out to Coach Dewey with the Act Right program, man. He's one of the best coaches in the city, and he's the new head coach for the new pro team, the Lions, here in the city. And,
Indiana Lions?
Yeah, the Indiana Lions.
Yeah, no, so I do a basketball tournament with Power Right and Chriser, and one of their players, Donnell Jones, shout out,
I saw you. I see your videos for him. Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely. He plays for them. I gotta sit there and line up something with him, man.
Yeah.
That shit, like, that's dope stuff. 'Cause I went to school with bro too, so like, shit like that, man, I love, bro. Like,
so like I said, because of Joe and Nikki and Fitz and them, they got me, and that's how I got to run and meet all these people. Like, so. Stunner Boy, a lot of people know who he is. I like to use him as like a mentor because, you know, he has a past. You know, he went to prison and now he does gospel rap. He's a professional basketball player and he's an entrepreneur. Why wouldn't I want a kid to follow that? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, I know he's loud, he talks a lot, and but I look past all that. You know, I'm looking at
the confidence. Like, it's the confidence.
Yeah. So, like I said, Coach Dewey with the Act Right program, man, he's been a blessing to me. I met him about like 8 months ago when I first started my basketball program, and he really was the heart of my basketball program. He had his own program already, so he already was working with kids, and
he had the system, and he was helping
and
develop your system.
And Coach Dewey, same thing, man. He was a great basketball player. He could have maybe gone to the NBA, but he got arrested with the prison. So, perfect example, you know what I mean? Why I got a coach that can teach these kids and take them to the next level, but also give them some life experience and wisdoms on why, if you stay in the streets, you're going to end up, and I don't mean nothing bad like this, you're going to end up like me, not playing in the league and losing out on my basketball game. That's what a lot of these kids do, including him and everybody wants to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The famous song is, there ain't no such thing as a halfway crook. It's only going to get you killed or just get you locked up quicker anyway. You know what I mean?
Definitely, it's showing the kids, you feel me, like, that there's really, it's really possible, like, for me to not only change what you're doing, but, like, even if you have made mistakes, even if, you do, fall down, you can get back up. Like, as long as you get back up, you always got to fight and change. Now, if you seriously lay down, if you let life happen to you. But, like, that's what I love, about what you're doing, because you're tapping with all these guys where it's like, at the end of the day, like, they might have made mistakes, but they got back up and they turned it around. Like,
a comeback story is always the best. You feel me?
Oh, no, definitely.
Comeback story is always the best.
Being from Indiana, you feel me? Like, we the underdogs, like, so to see that, that shit is definitely dope as fuck to see. I definitely love it.
And so we started that basketball program, and then we got our boxing program that's at Indie Boxing and Grappling. That's off of 23rd in Arlington. We do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We will be adding another day shortly, but Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7:30. And this is the best gym in the state. I'm not just saying this. They got professional fighters from the USC, the Bellator, the Bare Knuckle champions. You got Frank Martin that trains out here. You know what I mean? He fought Tank Davis, you know what I mean, about 8 months ago.
I'm going to definitely have to come and check out the gym, man.
And then we got a youth night. Man, I met these amazing people, man. Shout out to Hannah and Gabe. I love y'all. You guys are like family. You guys took in Devin like he's one of y'all too, man. They run a youth night called Urban Hope at Woodrow Church on Friday nights.
You definitely let me know about that.
So they've kind of allowed me to bring my kids or kids that I encounter to their youth night.
Integrate the system.
Yeah. And then I hooked up with Johnny with Barnes Methodist Church. They partnered up with us, and now our basketball program is officially about to kick off starting next Sunday. We're gonna be having open runs, and we're about to start our own AAU league for the youth. Cutting out all the BS like any other AAU. We don't age stipulations, districts, where they live, and money. You know what I mean? Some parents I work with, they don't even have cars. So of course they can't take their kid.
And it's like shit like that. It'll discourage a kid. Like, man, if you sitting here going to school, like, you really want to play basketball, all your friends play AAU. You just can't get into the AAU program, so you just like immediately like you feel behind. Right?
And there's definitely Well, I'm not saying I'm about to be the first. I think I might be the first of this, but there's other basketball leagues out there. But you know what I mean? We want to create a real AAU league that these kids that can't afford it, we'll take, you know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean? We'll take care of it, eliminate all that stuff, and we can
Just
compete
so that
against
they
other
can get on the
AAU
court, you
teams.
feel me?
Yeah, we wanna let these kids play high level basketball. My goal is to say they're on my team and say maybe Jeff Teague or Eric Gordon or Indy Premier coach sees one of my players and they're like, man, he's really good. Is he? Take him there. You know what I mean? I want them to, because they'll be able to take them to the next
But
level.
you're just like giving them that chance to be able to get on the court, like
Yeah.
giving the kids who don't got the opportunity. Say, all right, come on. Like,
And that's
come
why
on,
I'm
get on the
partnered up
court.
with like Know Your Baller. I just recently started working with Austin, man. I Love You with City League. Stunner Boy, Do It with the Act Right. D1 Playmakers out here. All those guys. We all are like-minded. We got the same mission and goal. We just want to provide a place for these kids to play ball and eliminate all that BS.
Give them a village, you feel me? 'Cause
Yeah,
it definitely
it takes a
you know?
village.
And you're giving them that village. Like, you might not have one, but this your village.
Yeah, for sure.
I really
for
fuck
sure,
with this shit, bro.
For sure,
And I definitely
man.
really appreciate, you know, coming to sit down, man, because this shit, like, hey, you hit me up and, you know, you saw what we're doing. Like, that's what this shit is all about. I want to showcase this type of shit for the city.
Yeah. And I feel because I was talking about who trusting the process. I didn't forget about you, T. She's she's actually a Riverside female basketball legend in high school, and she lost her basketball dreams, and she a female because she ran the streets. She
I'm about to say, you definitely gonna have
and
to
she
get
got
me-
her stuff on right now, trusting the process.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out,
yeah,
shout out. Hey,
yup. She's
Hey,
helping with
I'ma
the
need
basketball
everybody
program.
Put a good word in me, because I'm gonna definitely be hitting a lot of these people up for some
For
interviews.
sure,
man.
for sure. Before we go, let me tell you about
Nah, go
the
ahead, go
sneaker
ahead.
convention.
Definitely.
October, well, I don't want to drop the date yet. First week of October, y'all. By popular demand, we are bringing back the sneaker convention for the community. Yes, sir. We're going to have free shoes, clothes, haircuts, nail techs, hairstylists, giving out free services, free food. And you already know, man, we're going to have the hottest artists in the city performing, man. From Ken Sauce Me Up, Lil Indiana, Nicki Neptunes. And I ain't going to keep telling. You know, we got...
I was about to say, so, man, if they
and then a
wanna
3-on-3 basketball tournament. We're gonna have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament with a big cash prize, and I ain't gonna say it yet, but we're gonna have a celebrity ref. We're gonna have a
Okay.
celebrity ref, so let's go, man. It's gonna be big.
I was about to say, so where can they find, like, they just go to the Instagram page?
Yeah. At
All
Tony
right, but hey,
McCracken.
make sure y'all look right here, man. The Instagram page, man. One Day at a Time Foundation, man. It's Flizzard 317, man. 4-Way Podcast, man. Hey, we out, man.
Let's go.